Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What's going on? Oh, I need to get back to working on Obsidian. I think I'm going to start every time like that. But I'm also going to pretend that I die at the end of every from here on out. So, um, welcome back to my Dungeons and Dragons campaign that I'm working on. Currently, I am on. Oh man, I gotta change the name again. Stream settings. This is part 7-8. This is part 8. Save. Save, save, save. Um, put on like background tavern music. Royalty free, hopefully. Oh, excuse me. Wow. It is hot. It is hot, hot, hot. Ambient tavern music. Lowest it's gonna go. All right. That is all the work that I'm doing today for the stream. Um, um, hopefully it's not distracting. Hot. Um, hopefully it's not distracting. Hot. Cool. All right, sounds good. Let's get back to it then. Um, Obsidian TTRPG. Obsidian TTRPG tutorials. Along with my Obsidian. Please open up the right one. Please open up the right one. Obsidian TTRPG Vault. No, that's not the one I wanted open. Please, I would like my plugin tutorial. I'd love this to be closed. Alright. There's some plugins I'm excited to get to soon, but there's a big one right now that I really need to figure out. The community plugin that is Fantasy Stat Block. So, just for reference, I'm going to turn this down for you guys. How do I do this? Okay, this is how I stream. Um, this is, yeah, really, really interesting. Scoundrel. Yeah. You know, I want to roll for some more stats. I want to see how this goes. This is fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, one less. Oh, oops. 4. No roll. The lowest was 2. That's 4, 8. 16 minus 2 is 14. 14, that's pretty big. Biggest one's going to be 15. 6 is the lowest. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. Ooh, dodged a bad one there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, so that is 13. Wow, they're great stats. 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is pretty good stats for what we've been looking at doing. I'm going to do another one. 6 being lowest, 15 being the highest. That is 10 minus 1. That is a 9. Wow, a 9. I'm giving no context for what I'm doing. Ooh, 19 minus 4 is a 15. Great. Let's go for it. Oh, terrible. Terrible. A 4? That's the lowest I've rolled. Okay, one more. Hopefully it's a good one. Aha! Another 14. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. I'm gonna do one more. Just trying to get a sense for what the averages are. And I know it would take a lot more to get the averages, but just get a sense what it would be like to get high rolls and low rolls for rolling for stats. I do think this is the route that we're going to go. You roll for the 4 middle stats, and you have a high stat and a low stat, a 6 and a 15. And you get whatever's in between. This last time. Oh, high roller. That is a 17. Insane stats. Excuse me. Minus 2. 17 minus 2, that's a 15. That's crazy. 1, that is a 12. Okay, these are crazy stats. These are crazy stats. Minus 2. Yeah, that's crazy. 13. Nothing under 12. 2. Wow, and 3 of them 15 or higher. That would be insane. Okay, I lied. I'm doing one more. 15. 2 15s. 6, 7. 13. It has a high potential to be broken. You know? 12 minus 2, that's a 10. Maybe this is broken. Maybe I should just do standard array. I don't know. Yeah, 16. Oh, man. What if I made it that you rolled just for 2 stats? Yeah, I have music in the background right now. I'm using a tavern kind of ambience. I'm trying to make it really, like, faint in the background as well, so. Let me know if it's, like, too quiet. Maybe I'll turn it up just a tad bit. Okay. So, I'm going to underline any of them that are under 10 that were rolled. Wow, that's not a lot. What is the... No, you're not crazy. You ain't crazy. Miss Stargazer. FG. What does the FG stand for? For grills. Sounds a little too quiet. Gotcha. I got you. So this seems good because it has potential of being like broken, but at the same time it has potential of being, you know, pretty devastating, but at the same time you're always going to have something that's high and always have something that's low. So what if I did this? Okay. You rolled. How do I click and drag release when you're finished? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Again, it's endless. Okay. New idea, okay? You start with a 6 and a 15. Now, you cannot roll anything higher than a 15, and you cannot roll anything under a 6. So let me go ahead and test this theory out. Okay, this would be a 15. Oh my gosh, another 15. Okay, 10. One more, uno más. Would be insane. The chat on YouTube takes forever. Yeah, it does. It's not synced up super well. I think actually I should be able to change like a setting or something. Yeah, I'm not going to. It takes forever to show up when you type it, I think. So there's going to be a big delay, sadly. But that's just because it's going from it's going from typing in on YouTube. It's going to a chat, like stream elements, and showing up on OBS. And then OBS takes a second to actually show up on YouTube. So, sorry about that. How long would you say the messages take? Actually, I can just open up the YouTube and see. Here, go ahead and type a message real quick. And I'll count how long it takes for it to show up on the stream. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 seconds. That is a long time for it to show up. Which means... Well, no, because I'd be responding to it. 30 seconds for you? Oh, it's from when you typed it. I see. That's crazy. Oh, are you so you're counting from when you type it and when I respond to it? Or is it when you see your own message on there? Oh, that's 17 seconds. Okay, okay. So me responding to your stuff. And it doesn't help when I'm like focused on something and then I look over and finally see it. I'm sorry. I also don't have like something that pings me whenever I get a message, so my bad. My bad. My bad. I will keep that open on the side. Hopefully I can see your messages sooner when they come in. Because I'm waiting to see it on OBS, and when OBS shows it, it may be just a little bit too late. So, yeah, that might have been a fluke. I'm going again. I'm testing out new rolling methods. 11. It's hard to read chat and be distracted anyway. Yeah, it's a skill. It would help if I had something that's pinging. 15. 15. Oh, you get it. Of course I get it. I've always got it. 3, another 15. My gosh. I'm rolling like a madman. There we go, an 8. Man. That may be a way to go. It's just, it sucks when, like, let's say somebody else is getting, like, a 6, an 8, a 9, a 10, a 12, and a 15. And the other person has, like, I mean, what's the point difference here? 8 plus... Crap. I decided to make myself do math. I'll do 8. 8 plus 12 is 20. This is 39. And plus 15 is 40. 54 plus 6 is... Oh, 60. Came out to 60. We'll go back. 60. And this one is what? 15, 30, 45, 45, 60. That's 70. So there's a whole 70. What am I doing? 70. A whole 70 different. A whole 10-point difference in between these two. I like there being, you know, part of the luck of the draw. You have to be aware. You have to be present for it all. It's an idea. I love getting distracted using the tools now. It's like I'm actually using the tools. Great, great, great. Great, 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 great. I am now learning fantasy stat blocks. I'm also going to be learning the difference between fantasy stat blocks and other stuff. System data. The community have a number of ways to get bulk import stat blocks into the tool depending on the system you play. 5e 2024. Okay, so this is the one I'm looking at. Thank you, whoever you are. This is a Powerpuff Girl. Okay, so there's the one method that I watched already on how to get stat block information into my program. I am interested to figure out what is the next way, like the better way of importing all of this stuff, because I would like all the source books for 2024. So I'm looking at Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, and Dungeon Master Guide. I would also like Heroes of Faerun and Adventures in Faerun. And then lastly, I have the Curse of Strahd. Not Curse of Strahd. Ravenloft, The Horrors Within. Those are all stuff I would like to add to my database. It's all dependent on what method I do to import all that stuff. I would also like the Griffin saddlebag as well, the magic items. All stuff I want to utilize in my campaign. So this is something that I think I've done this before. Yes, I have done this before. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. I use Windows, and therefore this tutorial is focused on how to do a process using Windows. You don't have access to Linux or Apple. You can find the latest release on here, CCL or CLI release. Find the latest release and scroll down to the section titled Assets. This is a list of files included in this release. As I am using Windows, I download the one with Windows and the file name. There are other ways to download bulk stat blocks, as well as source book information. The method that I will use is called PTRPG on convert CLI. So, yep. All right. Create a folder where the CLI is going to live. I have put mine in DCLI. Inside the folder, you need to extract the contents of the zip we downloaded in the step above. The result should look like this. Install Git. Git is an application that allows you to control GitHub using command prompts. It's a prerequisite for the next step in the process. Download Git from the site and complete the install. Yep, we've already have that installed. Download the content you intend to use. Open the folder you made above and navigate to the bin folder. I don't think I need to do this. I think everything's already downloaded, so all I have to do is transfer it over to the other file. Maybe I save this for last? No. I need to do something right now, so this is what I'm doing. Now that they say Windows is. $3 ago? Holy crap. Okay. Clicking. Downloading. Okay, it recommends for me to have a thing labeled CLI. Okay. Create a folder where CLI is going to live. I put mine in this CLI. Inside this folder, you need to extract the contents of the zip we downloaded in the step above. The result should look like this. Yep. Install Git. I have that downloaded. Downloads the content you intend to use. So open the folder you made above. Navigate to the bin. Click the address bar. And type CMD. CMD. Press enter. Cool. This will open the command prompt from this location. This is an important step as the next process may be run for the folder to download the site. Paste this into the command prompt. You can do this by right-clicking on the command prompt window. How much space do I have? Oh, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. That's fine. Okay. You can do this by right-clicking on the command prompt window. Supposed to must be right. By right-clicking on the command prompt window. Yep. Wait for the process to complete. Basically, the process is downloading a copy of the 5e tools site on your machine. Oh, the tool site. Really? Okay, so that's the place I would have gotten it from anyways. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Repeat the same process as above, but this time paste the command. This command will download a copy of images to your machine. This is a much larger download and may take quite a bit of time if you have a slow internet connection. Okay. I've downloaded this like 3 separate times now. Really don't need to do this again. A whole gigabyte of information, maybe even more. Now things are downloading. Install the templates. Templates can be used to change the output. It's like giving me access to the whole website and information from the website. I recommend changing these until you get more comfortable with the process. However, if you want to use the Fantasy Stat Block plugin, you'll need to change the default template to the one that supports Fantasy Stat Blocks. Navigate to the TTRPG Convert CLI release page. Download the example files. Okay. A requirement for using the CLI tool. Create a new text document in your bin folder and name it to config.5e.easy.json. Paste the following into that file and save it. Yep. Okay. Interesting. Okay. This is like the 3rd time I've done this, and I'm still amazed at how it's working. But I understand even more how it's working now. Yeah, it's like 5 gigabytes every time. Yeah. So it's downloading the site as is for a moment. I'm guessing. Some of the content is created by official helpers. They ensure the data file follows the rules. Some of the content is created by the community. It's a higher chance they do not follow the rules. As such, you are going to have more success with the official modules versus third-party modules. If it's something that isn't commonly used by lots of people, the chance of errors increases. The process is only as perfect as the data entry. If you add all the available content, you will likely start to hit some of these issues. That makes sense. So because it's an open source website that anybody can kind of post content to, you're downloading a bunch of content and you're funneling only certain type of content to come through onto your vault. But if you just allow all of it to come in through, all of the stuff that wasn't input properly is also going to come through and mess things up. So understandable, understandable, understandable. We're almost there. Oh, it's done. Coolio, coolio. Excuse me. Cool. We are done with that. It looks exactly like this. Okay, configure files are now required. Create a new text document in your bin folder. We're in the bin. New text document. Open up the text document. Copy. Paste. Yes, look at all that. Look at all that. All that good stuff. Okay. Understanding the config file. So this is the config file. Okay. I am going to rename it. Understanding the config file. The content available through this process is documented in the source map. To add content you own, look up the content in the source map and take note of the field type. Copy the abbreviation for the content into the correct type section in the config file. Take note of the structure of this information. The commas are important. You need a comma at the end of every line except the last one in each group. Thank you so much for clarifying stuff. Here's an example where I have added additional content. Note there is no comma on the end of each section, but all content codes above the end do have a comma. The tool will fail if you have incorrect syntax. Okay, so this is Curse of Strahd. This is Monster Manual. Okay, so let me go ahead and find the source map and figure out what I want to add. I would like the... First I want to figure out what I do have. Lost Mines of Phandelver is what I'm guessing LMOP is. Lost Mines of Phandelver. Okay. I am... What is LOK? LOX? Light of Xerix? The head of Light of Xerix? What's that came from? Oh, it's just Spelljammers? I'm not interested in that. Get that off. But it is an adventure. Okay, so. Book. Astral Adventures Guide, Adventures Atlas. I'm just going to go through all of them, I guess. Astral Adventures Guide? No. Adventure Atlas? No. Starian's Book of Hungers? No. Adventures League? No. Adventures League Curse of Strahd? No, 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 no. Zib. Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. What are these? Can't say I'm familiar with this. This doesn't seem current. Adventures in the Forgotten Realm. I don't think this is the ones that are the current things. Descend into Avernus? No. Bigsby, Present, Glory of Giants? No. Book of Many Things? No. Borderlands Quest. Borderlands Quest, Goblin Trouble. Canopy of Mysteries, Critical Role. Chains of Asmodeus, Curse of Strahd, Divine Contention, Dangerous Design, Dragon of Icefire Peak, Dungeon Master's Guide, no. Deck of Many Things, no. Dragonlance, no. Descend into the Lost Caverns of that. Domains of Delight, Dungeons, Dragonheim, Dragon's Storm Isles. Nope, nope, nope. Forgotten Realms Adventures in Faerun. That's what I'm looking for. Yep, okay. So this is one. This one I am looking for. This is a book. Why is it not the same as these? That worries me. Maybe this should go to the top because it's the first to show up out of all of these. Maybe it wants to work in order. Heroes of Faerun as well. Oops. What is this? Oh, crap. Okay. Yeah, I do want that. That's an adventure. Definitely don't want this, so. Book. Heroes of the Borderland adventure. Don't have it. Journey through the Radiant Citadel. Morrowind First Light. Lost Laboratory of Polish. Lost Mines of Fandelver. I don't even know if I want Lost Mines of Fandelver. Ravenloft Forge Within is already up. Sweet. Dungeon Master Screen. It's just screen. Okay. Stormking's Thunder. Sigil in the Outlines. Tasha's Culture. The Lost Kenku. The Torah Package. Tales from the Island Portal. Reference. Tomb of Annihilation. Carrying Eternal Fortune. To Wheel, Tide of Retribution. Unearthed Arcana. Unwelcome Spirits. Vecna Dozier. Vecna Highway to Ruin. Volvo's Guide to Monsters. Witchlight. Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Yeah. Dungeon of the Mad Mage as well. Stranger Things Dungeon Master's Guide. Yep. 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 X screen. I'm curious on my campaigns. Oh, interesting. Library. I want to look at my library. To look at source books. I want to look at 5.5. These are mine. I want to look at mine. On. Okay, so these ones are available to me that are 5.5 official. So, sure. Why don't I download Lorwyn? What are you, though? Idyllic whimsy and sinister shadows exist side by side in the fey realm of Lorwyn Shadowmoor. This realm consists of opposing lands that twist together, their borders constantly in flux. The land of Lorwyn teems with colorful creeks, bright meadows, verdant forests, and gentle hills in the midst. Denizens build cozy on you. Magic of each land also influences its inhabitants. Okay. Alright, Lorwyn Shadowmoor. You're 5.5. I want to put everything 5.5 related in here. So, Lorwyn first level. LFL is a book. Lots of books here. Sage's Advice Compendium. Sure. Got it. Okay. It's an old thing. Rules are a big part of what makes D&D a game, rather than simply improvising storytelling. The game's rules are meant to organize and even inspire the action of a D&D campaign. Rules are a tool, and we want our tools to be as effective as possible, no matter how good those tools might be. They need a group of players to bring them to life and a DM to guide their use. The DM is key. Many unexpected things can happen in a D&D campaign. and no set of rules could reasonably account for every contingency. If the rules tried to do so, the game would become unwieldy. Rules as written. The same. I'm going to take that one off. Okay, cool. Coolio. Coolio, coolio. We've done it. Set the home vault location. So, it says save. Okay. Set the home vault location. This is where you can define the full where the CLI will go in your vault. You set the location in your config file. Then copy the notes into this location in your vault. This is very important. Do not move the CLI content from this location. If you want to change the location where the notes go, you need to update your config and rerun the process. Saddle. I think if I wanted to bring in Griffin's Saddleback, I would need to do it in the other way. So I'm fine. I'm not in love with the way that I have to, because it's like, oh, three mechanics, rules, three mechanic paths, three mechanics, CLI rules. So if I put it anywhere else, I'm scared it's not going to save. Um, so, oh, so I have to specify. Okay, so if I want it in ZZZ, I think I want it in ZZZ. So I need to specify the paths. So CLI, let me make a folder in here that is titled CLI then. Put that in ZZZ. Yep. So here I would need to specify ZZZ, CLI, and then rules. And this one I have to specify ZZZ. Save. I think I did that right. If copy internal is set, so this will recreate all the notes and update the notes accordingly. All right. Copy the notes into, so this is where you can define the folder where the CLI will go in your vault. You set the location in your config file. Yep. Okay, I did that. And then copy the notes into this location in your vault. How did I do that with the other one? Let me just peek. Just take these three files and I slide them over into there. Okay. So let me open up another file. File Explorer. We'll go to that. That. Okay. I'm copying some files over now. Cool, cool, cool. This is the online tutorial to manually import these files with files from source books and convert them into this is the way I will download that into the vault. It seems like everything's slowing down.
What shall we do with a drunken cleric? What shall we do with a drunken cleric? What shall we do with a drunken cleric? Early in the morning. Way hey.
What in the world? There's audios?
Arakokra.
There's pronunciations
Abjurer.
by Matthew Mercer
Aboleth.
by Critical Role.
Abominable Yeti.
How to pronounce these?
Armonite.
Bale. Blue Dragon Wormling. Bullywug. Centaur.
Duergar.
Empyrean.
Okay. I have one I want. A Cambion. How do you pronounce a Cambion?
Cambion.
Cambion. Ah, this is crazy. Pronunciations on how to pronounce the D&D bestiary? What about races? Oh my gosh.
Tabaxi.
Satyr.
Turtle.
Hobgoblin. Half-elf.
Interesting. So now everything should be referenceable in actually I kind of rolling for stats. Let's go to here. Okay, I'm going to start writing out a few things and see if I can show what they are. What is something that is unique to maybe a spell that is unique? Let's do warding. Oh, text message. Alrighty. Okay. So far, nothing's showing up. They do not use the fantasy step up. Most people wish to use. You fall asleep? Oh, when I was looking down? That's funny. Think I fell asleep. Alright. Not sure exactly what's going on, but yeah. Let me test out a few more things. Let me go to orc. Okay, what's going on? Why is it not trying to autofill my queries? If I type in excaladra. Okay, so that works. But I don't have orc in here. So something's wrong. Something didn't import correctly. Okay. Regardless of it, just downloaded all of them. I don't like that. How to do Dragon Heist. Okay. So I did something wrong. I don't know what I did wrong. Ink. Ink. I'm not gonna just copy it in there. is all a test vault, so I'm gonna have to rebuild everything into a separate vault. Oh my gosh. No wonder I didn't finish. What this means, I'm going to delete the CLI file. Go back. The CLI here. God dang it. Yep. It's happening. The process is complete with the command think prompt displays the folder path again. Oh. Oh, finally it's working. That took a long time. Whoa. Okay. Okay. All right. Whoa. This is great. This is fantastic. Billy's done it. Billy's doing it. Billy's doing it. Okay. All right. Moment of truth. I have downloaded multiple source books. So I've downloaded Waterdeep Dragon Heist into my vault, meaning I should be able to type in Vajra. Oh, why isn't it? Come on. Does it not give like a stat block for her or something? Oh my gosh. Okay, let me try a spell. I'm going to do counter spell. What in the world? Maybe I'll close out of this and open it back up. Give it some time to think. Indexing vault. Some functionality may not be available until this is complete. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You see that? I type in counter spell. And then there you go, boom. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put this, I'm going to put as counter spell. Counter spell. I think that means that it, oh, all I have to do is, okay, so it's that. And then I hover over it, and it gives me the rules for counterspell. It shows me all the bard classes that it works, all the classes that can know that spell. Oh boy. Okay. Now, bigger moment of truth. Come on. Vajra. Vajra Saphir. Vajra is a capable wizard in her mid-30s, the youngest person ever to hold the position of Blackstaff. As the High Wizard of Waterdeep, she is charged with using all the magic and resources at her disposal to defend the city against threats. She was handpicked for the job by Kelvin Aronson and wields the Blackstaff, from which Kelvin derived his name and the title of the office. Vajra isn't the city's most powerful wizard, but she can hold her own. Despite her many gifts, she still questions her ability to meet the demands of her role, and she rarely makes a decision without first soliciting advice of the Blackstaff, which contains Kelvin Aronson's spirit, as well as the spirits of all the other Blackstaffs who precede her. She also gets intelligence from many other sources, both through her own network of spies and from Harper agents. Not all of this is true in my world, but look at that. We got a little icon for her. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. That's right. That's right. Bigsby's hand maybe isn't displaying properly, but it's okay. Okay, Coolio. And this one we really wanted to show up as. Sure. Lazarus Affair. Oh, the black stuff. That's what it is. Okay, some of these spells have not imported correctly, which is worrying me a little bit. Oh, you know what? It's the ones with pictures. Magic miss. Oh yeah, it's the pictures that are messing it up. As that comes up, you know, I could just go in, because I think they're meant to be banners or something. Hashtag right. Just fine. There we go. Yeah, that's all it is. There's one line of code that's so it's only the ones with pictures. I can oh Coolio. Which also is like that means like jar. Relaxing. Mm-hmm. 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 I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So now that I have these, now what? I feel like finding Nemo where they get out of they finally get out of the doctor's office, the dentist, just in the water in bags. Like, yeah, we made it out. Now what? Just spent so much time figuring out how to get this up and running and working. Yeah, I almost forgot. Wait, like there's still so much more to do. I think with the stat blocks, fantasy stat blocks, because now look at this. I can type in orc and go. Let me do goblin. 2 goblin arrows. 2 goblin arrows. What does that mean? What is this? Hexer? Goblin hexers use flashy and disruptive magic. The goblins. Oh, they're like goblins with a little bit of magic in them. Yeah, I have bag of holding. You know what? I think I'm expecting something to be working with this when in fact I'm expecting, like, why isn't it making it so it hyperlinks automatically to the original name and not the bin name? In actuality, I think that there's another plugin that allows that to happen, so I will venture forth, continue my journey of learning these freaking plugins. Fantasy stat block. I want to, is it 5e tool equals Griffin saddle bag. Okay, so this gives all of it, and I can select specific stuff. Interesting. What am I looking for? Oh, I clicked show all. I shouldn't have. World. It's gotta be a CLI homebrew. Is the get homebrew? I don't know what it's doing. Anyways, I can figure that out another time. That's whatever. Alright, I learned fantasy stat blocks. Woohoo. Next, we are learning Eldry Weaver. Procedural and custom worldry for world builders and TTRPGs. Generate, save, and embed coats of arms, code blocks, or inline in tables. Huh? Huh? Procedural and custom heraldry for world building. World builders and TTRPGs. Generate, save, and embed coat of arms, code blocks, or inline in table. I don't think I'm a fan of this. I don't think I'm gonna do this one either. Heraldry Reaver? 704? Okay, proceed. No. That seems extremely niche. Not. Initiative tracker. There we go. There's a big one. Initiative tracker.
Tabletop RPGs. Let's learn how to use the tool. Alright, g'day guys, and welcome back today to another Obsidian adventure. Today we're going to be having another look at Initiative Tracker. It's been a while since we've done a video on Initiative Tracker, but there's actually some functionality that I haven't covered, and I thought we'd dive into that today. That functionality is the encounter builder. Not a lot of people probably even know this, but there is actually a full functional encounter builder built into Initiative Tracker. It can be a little hard to find if you don't know where to look, so let's go in and show you how to do that. Okay, so first thing, if you're brand new to Obsidian and this is the first sort of video you're seeing, you kind of need to stop. I want you to go over to Obsidian TTRPG tutorials and start coming through the tutorial content. But specifically, if you're new to this sort of plugin, what you need to come down here is to the plugin tutorials and come down here to where we see the TTRPG World Builder plugins, and you'll see Initiative Tracker, you'll see Fantasy Stat Blocks. I recommend you start with these sort of videos. And the reasoning for that is simple. It's going to go through the simple sort of functionality that's required to use this plugin. I do recommend Stat Blocks and Initiative Tracker, they work together, but it'll run through how to use this plugin, because tonight we're not going to go through that. We're going to jump straight into the more advanced functionality and show you how that works. Alright, let's go. Okay, so we've got obviously Initiative Tracker installed and enabled, we've got Fantasy Stat Blocks installed and enabled, and we've got monsters loaded into it. Alright, we're now ready to rock and roll. You can see here I've got a basic adventure in front of me. We can come over here to, I think, on the beaten path, and we can have a look here and actually see that there's an encounter built into this. You can see it's calculating that's a trivial difficulty, and we can launch that, right? And that launches that into the Initiative Tracker on the right. Lets us click our Stat Blocks and see them, and manage that in combat. Alright, we want to take this a step further. We want to create a balanced encounter for our party, and how do we do that? Alright, well, first things first, come down here to Settings, come to down here on Community Plugins or Initiative Tracker again. You want to make sure that you've got your players sort of added in here. Alright, we've gone through this in the actual Initiative Tracker video. I recommend you go have a look at it, but the nuts and bolts is you want to make sure that you've got your party set up. Alright, because we're going to be using the party in the next step. From there, we can close that out and come back down here, and we can actually go over and press the Initiative Tracker Encounter Builder button. Click that, and that will open up a new tab. And oh, look at this. Alright, I'm just going to minimize these so you guys can see this, because it took me a while to find some stuff tonight, but you know, these are actually like expandable headers, I guess you could say. Some tricky CSS has gone into making this sort of like look the way it does. We've got the player box here. Alright, now what you probably realise is that's pulling from the Initiative Tracker configuration that we just had. Alright, by default what I've got is I've got 7 players. 7 players that I've basically added in. Now I've got the kids power. This is actually my kids game. Interesting game. They always burn things down. But I've got 7 of the local kids that are playing in this game here. Obviously you can change the party if you've got a different one. I don't, so it doesn't go through there. Now, the other thing you can do is you can go through and say, hey, well, I want to make sure that I've only got 4 of these. So the first 4 turned up, the next 3 didn't. Alright, so I can actually press that icon and remove them from the entire actual encounter. Now it's got their level here as well, and that is important, right? Because the encounter builder uses the level to obviously determine what sort of, you know, XP is basically available. So these guys are level 2, it's nice and simple. Alright, we've gone through, we've enabled 4 players, which Pathfinder 2 E is the default out-of-the-box sort of party size. And now we can see over here it's got some ranges. So trivial should be 40 XP, low challenge 60 XP, moderate challenge 80, severe 120, extreme 160. That's my bands. And then what we can do here, I'll actually get rid of this, is actually see the current difficulty. Alright, so right now it's a trivial encounter. We don't have any monsters in there. Alright, so it's just nothing. Alright, so let's start building an encounter. We come down here and it says add some creatures to get started. Alright, we've got some buttons here to add and save these things. We've got
This is not the right step. Oh, this is not... What? Where was it drawing that information from? The encounter builder.
some options here in our filter to break this down. And you can see down here we've got a massive list of monsters. Alright.
Excuse me. Oh. Streaming more than 2 hours now.
Massive list of monsters. Alright, we need to go through and figure out which ones we're going to do. So, what I'm going to do is I want to have some goblins in my fight. So I type in goblin, and that actually gives me a list of all of the goblins. Alright, so I want a goblin warrior. Alright, what does that do? That's a trivial. Alright, I've used 15 of my total XP. Alright, let's go through and add a goblin pyro as well. We're now into low difficulty. I reckon they could handle another one as well. Yeah. What if they had an orc with them? An orc scrapper. There we go. Alright, this is now a moderate difficulty level. Alright, so that's fine. Basically, you know, reading through Archives of Nethys, it means it's a serious challenge to the player. So this is probably a nice sort of level for me to go. I can obviously determine if I'm going to go too far, how quickly I'm going to go too far, but you know, it's pretty good. Alright, you can see over here I've got some plus and minus buttons, and I can obviously increase the number of people that are in there, obviously keeping track of the difficulty level that I'm doing. Over here we've got some options, so I can see, well, you know, how much XP each of them are worth. I can hide them from the initiative tracker window. We can make them allies. Alright, or we can remove them. Alright, so if we come back here and we put the goblin back in again, goblin warrior, alright, that's the remove button. So look, that's pretty simple, right? We can then go through from there, set up some encounters, go, alright, I've got some confidence in what this is going to take. Also, if, you know, something happened, you know, maybe on the road and they needed a quick encounter, it's right here inside of Obsidian, right? You can just quickly go over there. Now, from here, what I could do is press this button, and that then starts the encounter in the initiative tracker. Alright, then I can track through whose turn it is. It automatically rolls your initiative. What I like to do at the table is we actually roll real dice. Alright, then I like to actually start at the top and go, Nix, what'd you roll? And he goes, I rolled a 14, and I press enter. Sanju, what'd you roll? I rolled a 16. Alright, and that just resets it. That's how we sort of play, because we like to have that physical effect on the table. Like, we still like to feel like we're playing an actual tabletop game. So real dice. Some people even use like paper character sheets, and that's what we do. We just basically we override the initiative. Alright, just makes us feel like the dice are still having an impact on the game. Sometimes I'll leave the monsters. Sometimes I'll leave the monsters and roll the dice just for fun, just so that the players hear me rolling and wondering what I'm doing. Or I might just go through and actually, rework all of that myself anyway. Now what we can do is actually save these encounters. So this will be Goblin Encounter 1. I like to have a naming convention. P times 4 tells me it's designed for 4 to 4 players. Alright, that's now saved. Alright, now we've got load encounter. So we've got that saved and we can load it, and we can obviously clear the encounter as well. So if we clear that, and then we load the encounter, we get that encounter back. Alright, so obviously that makes it sort of, quite easy for us to use. Now I do wonder, there must be a way from here to load an encounter. Here we go. Alright, load an encounter, and I've got the Goblin Encounter 1, P times 4 that's loaded there. Just out of curiosity, let's come down to settings, go back to initiative tracker, and come down here and have a look at our encounters. And we can now see that an encounter has been saved. Right? I probably wouldn't want to have too many of these. I wouldn't want to have like 6 sessions pre-planned ahead of time. I might stay 1 session ahead or 2 sessions ahead, and that might be it. It's completely up to you, but I'd be a bit careful about that. All right, so there we go. That's how you create a very simple encounter. It's how you go through and obviously make sure it's balanced, make sure it's easy. You can throw it into combat really, really quickly. You can load it from that combat very, very quickly. All right, it's a very, very simple tool to use. Okay, for those who have keen eyes, you probably noticed there's a few other options in here that I didn't play with. That's the options down here in the actual filtering options, and these buttons here. And the reason I wasn't showing them in the first part of this video is because they weren't working in my testing, and I've just sat down and spent a bit more time and figured it out, and I thought it's worth showing you guys what I learned so that you can replicate yourself, because this is very, very customizable, and I didn't realize it was, you can just do so much with it. Anyway, so let's just start off with this. All right, we've got our filter options, and usually they might be hidden, and you can obviously filter on a name, and it brings up anything with that name. But if you expand this out, you've got some more options. And I think the really important thing to note is there's a cog button over here on the right. And if you go edit headers, edit filters, you can actually change the options here. All right, now this is important. So I was using the 5th edition version. And if I reset those headers to the default options, just to replicate the original environment, I'll show you what I'm talking about, just so you can see. All right, here we go. So I've got a filter for a name, a min CR, a max CR, and I'm meant to have another dot here. All right, now I'm using the Pathfinder 2e version, and I will say that if you're using 5th edition, you probably won't have this experience. But I noticed that there was no second dot here, and no matter what I did with the slide bar, nothing seemed to work. No matter what I put in here, nothing seemed to work. And I was like, huh, what's going on? Why isn't this working for me? Like, I can see in the screenshots and the documentation. patient site, that it's meant to be something that's quite.
Alright guys, I know last week Jason went and he actually did a video on initiatives and how he does it with pen and paper, which I'll a lot of the time do it with pen and paper myself. Really? Could you going to appear? I'll immediately see once, so it's going to super easy. As a DM, you use additional multiple canvases. How Jason does things, I like that I don't.
Trying to figure out how to get my pre-registered like characters in here. Like, I don't even know what this is. Is this just a picture? Thing is that this is all D&D 5e like stat blocks, not current stat blocks. Also, no hyperlinks to anything. So, like, I know for a fact. Cultist. Sacred Flood. Is this okay? So it's using 2024 with the hyperlinks because the hyperlinks are embedded correctly. Now. It allows you to add additional creatures to the encounter, and it is the most complicated parameter. Basic. This is just talking about the basics.
quite easy to use. By clicking here, I can see size, I can go to size, type was doing something else, and come down here to community plugins, and we're going to find fantasy stat blocks, actually down here on the left. We'll just come down to a monster. Alright, we'll go an acrobat. We'll go edit, and we'll have a look. And this is the raw data that obviously feeds this plugin. Is where I thought this is where it's going on. And you'll notice that the slider was using the field CR, because in 5th edition, that's what it uses, is CR. If we have a look down here, there's no CR in PF2E, okay? It doesn't exist. What we do have is level, all right? But the range slider requires a number, all right? I want to get a range between 0 and 25, for example. And we can see here that this value for level sort of thing, and you'd probably want to have these ones without that's saved in the AC field, and so therefore this works on numbers, so therefore pick from some nice think about the stat. Alright, so there you go, that's the encounter builder that's built into the initiative tracker in front of me. We can come over here to, I think, on the beaten path, and we can have a look here and actually see that there's an encounter video. I recommend you go have a look at it, but the nuts and bolts is you want to make sure that you've got your party set up, alright, because we're going to be using the party in the next step. From there, we can close that out and come back down to here, and we can actually go over and press the initiative tracker encounter builder button. Click that, and that will open up a new tab, and oh, look at this. Alright, I'm just going to minimize these so you guys can see this, because it took me a while to find some stuff tonight, but you know, these are actually like expandable headers, I guess you could say. Some tricky CSS has gone into making this sort of like look the way it does.
Oh. Get at them from there. Okay. Not bad. And what, they're worth 5,000 each. Cool. Yes. Okay. It is a plugin that helps with tracking the initiative. What sucks is that when clicking to make a new initiative, encounter the only suggested monsters to choose from are the preset ones that come. So, in order to add certain creatures to the combat, will need to be manually selected in the stat blocks of creatures to add to current creature, which isn't bad if all the creatures in the session notes. Alright. Gucci. But this also means like I can like type in commoner. Literally go to commoner And I can add a commoner to the initiative. That's crazy. Mm. Easy peasy. Made up words, a dictionary for the words you've made up. Browse, search, and look up your invented vocabulary across multiple languages with hover tooltips and a side panel lexicon. Probably not. Relationship maps?
Welcome to Obsidian TTRPG Let's learn how to use the tool. Alright, g'day guys, and welcome back today to another Obsidian video. Today we're going to be diving into relationships. And obviously anyone who's been a Dungeon Master for a while will realise that relationships between characters is something we need to be able to manage. Who is married to who likes who hates who's a child of who, and depending on the campaign you're running, you might have very deep relationship chains that you need to manage. I've come across Dungeon Masters in my time that, the relationships really impact on the outcome of the game as they work through their world, and they work through the relationships between the party and the people that they meet, and that has an impact on everything around it. For a while though, I've really felt that relationship management in Obsidian has been a bit of a weak point. Alright, now we've always had graph view, and we can show a link exists between one note and another, and we get that magical look of graph view, but really that serves no real purpose in my mind. Like, it's interesting, and it might be useful occasionally to say, this note links to that note, and that note links to that note, but it doesn't give us much information. Now, if you're a Patreon supporter of mine, you may have seen the vault in front of you now. This is my Patreon vault, and you may have come across the fact that the people template has this relationships graph. And for anyone who's watched my videos for a while, you realise I put this out years ago. And this works, right? Like, it does work. It's got the ability to set parents and partners and children, but it's hard-coded, okay? The number of relationships is hard-coded, and the code for configuring this thing is, quite frankly, a nightmare, all right? And for new users coming in, it's not pretty. It's very not pretty. It's very not fun to use. So for a while, I've wanted something better, or I wanted something easier, something where I can just go, I'm going to define these type of relationships, and go into a note, and go into the property of the note, define that type of relationship, and select the notes that people have that relationship with, right? So if it's a parent, I can put a parent property in my note, and then go up and say, well, these two notes are the parents of this person, and have a plugin that just figures that out, right? It shows me, this is that note's parents, all right? And I want to be able to do it with lots of things. That's been my journey. Now, I've hinted at this for years with plugin developers, but no one's ever taken my bait, right? And not having the capability myself to make plugins, right? I don't know JavaScript, I'm useless at it. I'm dangerous with programming enough to, like, figure things.
I don't think that this is necessary either. Adds helpful features for playing TTRPGs. Its features are mainly geared towards solo gameplay using GM Emulator. Weather generation. This plugin connects to real-world weather data. Great for replicating weather in your world. Just pick a real-world location with similar weather to the world you are playing. Oh, text mapper. This plugin renders hex maps in Obsidian. Okay, this is what. This is a real one. Okay, maybe the hex map is not what we need. Maybe this is it. TTRPG tools maps. Right.
Welcome to Obsidian TTRPG Let's learn how to use the tool. Alright, g'day guys, and welcome back today to another Obsidian video. Today, we're going to be jumping into something that's brand new and incredibly exciting, and that is called Zoom Map, okay? There's a new pinnable map plugin in town. It's fantastic, it's easy to use. If you're one of those people that have tried to use Leaflet historically and got confused with how to calculate your bounds and how to add the image to the map and get it all set up correctly, this video is for you, alright? Because this plugin is really simple and easy to use, alright? So let's jump in and let's have a look at Zoom Map. Okay, so let's start with where do we find Zoom Map. It is a brand new plugin, and at this time, it has not been reviewed and released via the Obsidian community plugin feature. Okay, so you can't actually get this directly from within the tool. Now, by the time you watch this video, it's very likely that will change. Okay, so it has been submitted for review, which means in the future, you're going to be able to come down to the settings icon, community plugins, go browse, and hopefully just type in Zoom, and Zoom Map should come up. All right, so hopefully we'll be coming into this space in the near future. However, in the meantime, what you need to do is go settings, community plugins, go browse, and you actually need to install Brat. All right, so we've used this previously. Brat is, so Draker is the new person who is the new dev who's created this, how to install it. All right, with that said, let's jump in and let's learn how to use the settings. Okay, with any new plugin, the first thing you should always do is read the README and go and check out the settings, okay, just to learn what the plugin can do. So we go settings, we go community plugins, it's now installed, we can see Zoom Map. All right, now if you click on that, once it's released, it should have the README and the information. Right now, that's not working, so I'll just click back. We'll come to here and go to settings. Okay, if we go through, there's a few things that you need to know about. We'll go through some of these in more detail as we go through this video. All right, as I said, it's going to be long, we're going to cover everything. All right, so storage. Storage is where you want a map to store its data, okay? And you've got two options. You've got a JSON file that sits beside the image. Now, what that means is Leaflet used to store it in the .obsidian folder in the back end of the plugins. This one doesn't do that. It actually creates a JSON file unique to that actual map, and it sticks it next to the image. And I really like this option. I haven't tested it in things like Colab and all that sort of stuff with multiple people making changes at the time, so I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I really like that it puts the JSON file beside the image in your vault, all right, which means, you know, it's unique to that single map, which means the risk of losing any data, like we had a few cases years ago with Leaflet, should be minimal. The other option is inside the note, and we'll actually create a hidden comment inside of the note, and it will basically put it in there. Now, both of these options are really good, right? They seem to be really strong. The risk of data loss due to the plugin resetting is not there because it's storing in separate files. I'm leaning towards this one, actually. I've come around. I was very much going, I want my data in my notes because I knew that Leaflet had historically had some issues with data loss. So I was kind of scared of it. But this option here, the JSON file beside the image, is really neat. I certainly do recommend that as an option. All right, so the default width sounds pretty easy. We've got some options here for mouse wheel zoom factor, so how far in and out you zoom when you turn your mouse scroll wheel. Your panning button, you've got middle and left as options. The hover pop out, so when you hover over a pin, how big does it get? You can set that there. Whether you need to hold control or not to force those popovers to show, so I've got that enabled so I don't have to press control. Do we want to open the editor when placing a pin from the menu? I've got that tick so the settings come up. And we've got some more preferences in here as well. All right, pin scale like sticker, we'll go through that in detail. I've got that set on. Prefer first active layer for new markers, I've got that set on. And enable drawing tools, I've got that turned on so I can do some drawing. All right, then we go down, we've got some ruler options, we've got some custom units, collections, marker items, and SVG icons. All right, so we'll go into those in detail shortly. All right, there's a lot of things you can do here. All right, so that's your basic settings, all right, the things that sort of matter that you should sort of set up. And obviously for me, it's really just sort of like this stuff up here, making sure I know what button's going to be used for panning, what size things are, that I don't have to use control, like I just go through and get those set up. All right, with that aside, let's jump in and add a new map. All right, let's show you how to do that. First thing we want to do is make a new note. All right, my new note. All right, so we've got basically the ability to have a new note there, and what we're going to do is we're going to paste in a code block, effectively. All right, and if we go and have a look at one we've done previously, I've got this one here. So we've got zoom out. All right, now I've got this from the actual GitHub site. All right, so if we go back to here, we click this link, and we go to the GitHub. As I said, always read the README, go through and have a look, and you can see here, they've got a default one, so you can actually copy that into your notes. So, copy that, go back to our note, paste that in, all right? Make sure you delete these extra ticks, all right? They're just added from the website when you copy and paste it, but it's that bit there that you want to use, so it should go tick, 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 zoom out, and then with a tick, tick, tick. Everything between that is the code block. Right, if we turn that on, we get a blank sort of canvas. There's no map there currently, okay? We go to edit, and now we start to go through the options. Okay, so we've got an image, all right? So we have to actually link it to an image. What are we going to do? We're going to come in and have a look at ZZ attachments, and I've got a maps folder, and we're going to use the greenest map DM. So what I want to do here is make this match. So ZZ underscore attachments is what I've got mine called. And inside of that, I've got maps, and then inside of that, I've got my greenest map DM. So best map DM, and mine's a PNG.
Very cool.
Alright, so we've done that. We have a map. Alright, that's simple that.
I have it. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. Publish. I don't care about publishing. Soundboard. Soundboard plugin for Obsidian, designed for TTRPG sessions. Play sound effects, music, and ambience quickly from it. Whoa! I can control the sound from this as well. Timelines. Probably not. Character sheet. So this is the last one. This is the last thing I would need to learn.
Hey guys, and welcome to the first visual video where we're going to be discussing tips and tricks on how to make your tabletop RPG vaults into the best they can possibly be. In this video, however, I'm going to be recommending, from my personal opinion, what community plugins I use as the backbone for my vault. However, there are many amazing plugins out there that offer a lot more and certainly should be something you look into. Also, I'm not someone that knows these plugins in and out. With that, there's an amazing community Discord down below in the description for you to check out and ask any questions you may have if you were into them. Before we get started, however, please note, now one thing to mention before we get into this is where to actually find these plugins. First, you'll need to go to your settings, then go down to community plugin.
Alright, g'day guys, and welcome back today to another Obsidian video. Today we're going to be looking at how to create a soundboard inside Obsidian, which is, something as a semi-digital dungeon master is really, really cool to have, right? Like, we play at the table, we roll real dice, we have a TV in the middle of the table where we display maps, and part of the benefit of having that TV there is that I can control sound through it. So I quite often already play sound to my players. Currently, I think the most commonly used application that I use is Arkenforge, and before that I used to use Sirenscape. Now, the thing I like about Sirenscape, though, is it has this really cool functionality that enables you to trigger the sounds from an external application. I don't want to use the actual application. That's because I've got a lot going on my screen. All right, Obsidian is my primary DM tool. Outside of that, I have Arkenforge over on another screen that I'm using to control the map, but I am controlling that map from the one screen that I have in front of me. Because I have a 3-screen setup, right? I have one, the TV and the table in the middle that the players will sit around and they can see the map on it. That's got a player view, I guess you would say, of the map for the players to use. But then I've got my DM screen that's primarily running Obsidian, and ideally I'd like to stay in Obsidian as much as possible. Also on that screen I have Arkenforge running, which I utilize to obviously control the map, and I do control music through there. But then there's a third.
That is it. I mean, I don't need. I've not looked into this yet. Read the plugin when the time comes to set this up. But ultimately, this is a quality of life improvement. This is an extra plugin to control music. Makes even more things accessible just through Obsidian, and so I don't have to open up more apps. That's crazy. Well, officially, that was the last plugin I need to look into in order to complete my community supported plugin tutorials. Last thing will be templates, but templates are really only going to be used for when I'm at this point. I've learned most of what I need to learn, and so I'm next stream is me setting Obsidian up officially for the way that I want it to be used. That is going to be pretty sick. I imagine it's going to take me the whole time to figure that out, how to get that running, but that actually puts like a concrete like end to kind of learning these plugins and what they do. Now I can finally say, oh, I know what each one of these actually does, and I at least know where to look for help when faced with a challenge or something of it. So yeah, I think we're there. I'll look at the templates real quick. Obsidian has powerful, flexible template support. Common thing we hear from new users: Obsidian looks great, but I will never be able to remember all the code syntax you guys are using. They don't remember it either. So, templater is a core plugin, if I remember. Templates. Call out templates. Specific parts of your note, data view, queries, yep. So I'll be creating my own set of templates. Okay. This is next time I'm in here. Make my vault. Yeah, that's it. Is that it? Just make my vault? Add templates that I would need. Probably will just copy the templates that he has pre-made. Templates. Figure out. Vault folder format. Yeah. So once I add the templates that I want, all the templates that I could possibly need, add the vault folder. I think I'm good. Home page. Homepage and DM screen. Done. Okay. I'm done. Alright. Definitively. Next stream, more than likely Friday morning. Securing a and completing my vault to begin writing for my D&D campaign. That is going to be crazy. Thank you. I'm beyond excited to actually see, like, okay, I'm at the end. I'm at the end. And then next thing I can do is start reading up the Adventures in Faerun and create my own D&D campaign. Yeehaw. I'm tired. Very tired. And I'm hot. It's very hot right now. But I'm excited. I kind of just want to get started on it now, but I gotta sleep. I gotta work tomorrow. And I have my list of goals for next time I stream. It's been a long time coming. Actually, let me just do a quick look real quick. 3.5 hour stream today. My lives. Another 3.5, so that's 7 hours. Another 2 hours. 9 plus 3.5 hours. That's 12.5 plus 5.5 hours. So 13, 18 hours. I did a little bit last night. So I'll say that's an hour. 19, and then round up to a half. 18 minutes. 19, 20, 21 and a half. And today, well, no, I guess it already, about 20 hours. 20 hours of just learning this program. That's insane. I'm insane. Don't do that. It's probably not worth the time. That was like an extra job. Well, thank you, Stargazer, for being there the whole time. I appreciate you. What was in the water? Ugh.